Ask 3 agencies how to build your MVP and you will get 3 different answers. Because everyone recommends the hammer they are used to. In this video, I will show you a simple way to choose based on the risk. So you can stop collecting opinions and start making decisions. I will use mobile apps as the main example, that's my word, but the same logic applies to web apps, SaaS and the internal tools. If you're a founder without a tech co-founder, this is one of the most frustrating parts. You are trying to make a business decision, but every conversation turns into a tech debate. And honestly, that's normal. Most teams answers from their own playbook. If they build native apps, native is the default. If they work in low-code, low-code is the default. If they build with AI, AI is the default. Same founder question, different defaults. The practical takeaway is simple. Don't ask, what do you recommend? First, ask, what assumptions are you making? And what risk are you focusing on? 2 teams can be equally competent and still recommend opposite paths because they are focusing on different risks. So instead of hunting for one correct answer, we'll use a simple way to think about the decision. So here's what we'll do. I will give you a simple decision framework you can use even if you ignore every opinion, including mine. But before we get into the framework, I want to show you why relying on opinions is such a trap. Because depending on who you talk to, you will hear a different answer. A team that builds fully custom apps will tell you go custom. It's the most professional way. A team that specializes in one code-based apps will tell you multi-platform is the best compromise. And now you also have people saying just use AI and you will have the app in the weekend. None of those are automatically wrong, but each of them is biased by what they know and what they sell. So here is my context so you know where I'm coming from. I have shipped products in 3 different worlds: fully native, cross-platform and low-code with AI. So I'm not here to defend one best approach, I'm here to help you see the trade-offs. Because for an MVP, trade-offs are often the whole game. Before we talk about what's best, you need a clean menu. Most founders don't get a menu, they get a recommendation. And here is the quick map of the common paths for a mobile app MVP. Option 1 is fully custom native, separate iOS and Android builds, maximum control but usually the slowest and the most expensive way. Option 2 is multi-platform framework, one code base for both platforms using tools like Flutter or React Native. Still real development but just more leverage. Option 3 is low-code. You're still building an app, but you are using a platform like a Flutterflow to speed up delivery and make changes cheaper. Option 4 is no-code, similar to low-code, great when you need the simplest possible test, a prototype or a workflow, super fast, but you can hit the selling. Option 5 is AI assist building. Some people call this vibe coding. It means using AI to prototype fast or to generate chunks of code. Great for experimentation, but risky if no one owns it on the long term. One important point, an MVP is not the first version of your final product, it's the cheapest version that can reliably test your core assumptions with real users. And that's the menu. And the mistake founders make is choosing from that menu based on the gut feeling instead of risk. Here's what that looks like in real life. You will hear things like custom feels more serious, low-code is just a toy, no-code won't scale, AI code will be unsafe or impossible to maintain. A lot of this is fear-driven. Founders worry they will struggle to hire engineers later or they will regret not choosing the proper stack from day one. But early on, seriousness is measured by real users, not by your technical structure. The best founders I have seen treat tech as a tool for speed of learning and only invest heavily once the market pulls them forward. But an MVP is not about building the perfect product. An MVP is about buying the truth as cheaply and as fast as possible. So instead of asking what technology is the best, ask what approach reduces my biggest risk the fastest. And here's the framework. 4 simple questions. If you answer them honestly, the best approach usually becomes obvious. First, what are you actually validating? Are you trying to figure out whether people even want this? Will they sign up? Will they try it once? Will anyone pay for it? Or are you validating something that is technically hard? Like, can this handle a lot of users at the same time? Can it stream audio or video without breaking? Can it really use the device features in a reliable way? If the big question is, will people use this at all? Then your MVP should focus on speed of learning, not engineering. If your main question is, can this even be built to meet the requirements? Then you might need more custom work earlier. Second, what must be true in 6 weeks? Be specific. Maybe it's 20 pilot users complete the core flow. Maybe it's we charge money. Maybe it's we see retention, or maybe it's simply we get real feedback every week. Your approach should match the outcome you need, because if you need weekly learning loops, choosing a path that makes changes expensive is a hidden tax. Third, what makes if you cut corners? Every MVP cuts corners somewhere. The question is where trade-offs actually matter. Performance in one common example. If your product doesn't need maximum performance, you will usually be fine with more than one technology choice. Native solutions gives you the best performance, but many MVPs don't need that level of performance on day one. If you are not pushing device limits, then performance is rarely the bottleneck early on. In those cases, speed of learning matters more than the raw performance. Fourth, if it works, what's the next step? You can keep building on the same platform if it's stable and fits your needs. Or you can treat the MVP as a stepping stone and rebuild in custom once you earn the right. Here's the key thing to understand. You don't need to pay for a scale with your first version. You earn scale later with proof. So whatever approach you choose for your MVP, it needs a realistic next step. Not perfect forever, just what do we do if this actually works? Now, let's make this practical. For most early founders, the biggest open question is not technology, it's demand. Will people use this? Will they come back? Will anyone pay? When that's the case, speed of learning matters more than technical perfection. That's where low-code or no-code often makes sense. Not because it's better technology, but because it gives you room to change your mind without starting from scratch every time. You can ship faster, you can react to feedback, and changes doesn't destroy your budget. Cross-platform tools like Flutter or React Native becomes the better choice when you already expect real complexity. Stronger requirements, more logic, more things that can break, but there is one condition. Someone needs to own the code on the long term. That can be a technical co-founder or a trusted senior developer. Without that ownership, even a good custom build can turn into a black box that you are afraid to touch. Fully native usually makes sense only when you truly need it. Deep device features, serious performance needs, or a clear technical reason from day one. And the last one, AI-based prototyping. That's great when you want to test an idea fast. But once you are building a product that changes every week, someone still needs to own the result. Otherwise, you don't have a product. You have a demo that can't grow. Let me make this concrete. 2 quick stories from real projects. One mistake and one win. Years ago, we built a C2C marketplace app like eBay, and we had in plans one native feature called AR, so you could point your phone at a real object and see digital stuff on top of it. It was this kind of thing that makes people go wow in demo. It was also fancy, and because of that one feature, we went fully native. MVP took us half a year. Then we launched and there were no users. We tried to pivot, but every change took serious time. New screens, new flows, new experiments. Everything was slower because native work is simply heavier and more expensive to change. And the painful part was the AR feature didn't save us. It wasn't the reason users would show up. It was just a nice to have we built the whole decision around. Now, important context. Back then, we didn't have today's AI tools, and low-code, no-code wasn't really an option. If I look back now, a smarter move would have been cross-platform framework like Flutter, so we could ship the app in like 2 months, learn from the market, and only then decide what deserves deep investments. Now, compare that with the second story, where the whole goal was to buy learning fast and keep the budget for changes. A client initially wanted Flutter, multi-platform tool. It was technical founder, very reasonable. Then we asked, do you want the cleanest code or the most room for change inside the same budget? The question made the trade-off clear. we choose Flutterflow low-code for a niche social media app. And it wasn't a toy app. It had a chat, attachments between user groups, basically a WhatsApp experience. We didn't build that from scratch. We integrated an existing platform called GetStream. And that gave the product a really premium feel, with the same kind of core messaging features people expect from Messenger or WhatsApp app. We delivered the app in 4 weeks. In the first week after release, we already had a real feedback from users. And by week 5, we were already shipping changes based on that feedback. Still inside the same budget, because making changes wasn't painful. And here's the key. We never had a reason to rewrite it. The app was relatively simple, no IoT or weird hardware. The uniqueness was the niche and the positioning, not the technology. So low-code wasn't a temporary hack. It was the right tool for the product reality. To be fair, low-code is not for everything. If from day one you need a deep offline, heavy real-time or intense performance, then custom is often the safer path. Low-code shines when your biggest risk is will users care, not can we technically pull this off. Don't treat your MVP like an engineering project. Treat it like a business decision. Start by answering the biggest open questions, go custom later when it actually makes sense. And if you remember something from this video, remember those 4 questions. What are you validating? What must be true in 6 weeks? Where can you cut corners and where you can't? And what happens if it works? If you want, drop your situation in the comments, tell me what you are building and what constraints you see. I will try to help. And thanks for watching. See you next time.